Who among us doesn't like to put our mark on things? But how could we mark something a bit more permanently? With fire and metal, of course. Branding irons have been around for a very long time. Even though modern livestock keeping has changed largely to freeze markings, in the past hot irons were often used to mark cattle to show who owned it. In a more sad turn of history, the branding iron was also sometimes turned to our fellow man, both as torture and to brand slaves and criminals. Brands have also been used throughout history as a rites of passage, and are continued to be used today by body modification enthusiasts for scarification. Today, however, we're making something a bit less dramatic, a small branding iron to leave your mark on wood, paper, leather or other appropriate surfaces. Let's get started. Dealing with hot branding irons is an easy way to harm yourself and others. Never brand anything or anyone without securing their permission first. If you're going to be an idiot, don't come crawling back here complaining. While it is possible to make your branding irons entirely from scratch by forming metal to the right shape, we're going to explore another, more technologically dependent way. First, you need to start up your CAD package of choice and either create or import what you want to use as the motif. In this case, I chose my switch and lever logotype. Scale it appropriately and extrude the logo a few millimeters, and then make a backplate for it. If you have more elements, simply model them the same way. In the back, extrude a cylinder 6 mm in diameter and about 10 mm in length. If you're making a brand consisting of several parts, attach the parts together with a small bridge. The reason for all this is that we're going to use a service called Shapeways to 3D print our brand directly in steel. The bridge that you made will ensure that Shapeways sees the brand as one part, and thusly you don't have to pay extra cost for the individual parts. Make sure you read up on the material guidelines on Shapeways when you're making your brand, and ensure that all parts fall within the material limitations. Did you read the guidelines? Good! Now hit upload and wait while the model goes through the automatic checks. Once done, do a manual check to make sure everything looks like you expect. Scroll down and order your brand in stainless steel, because we wouldn't do anything so silly as to order a plastic branding iron now, would we? Yes, it's expensive. Suck it up. Now the waiting game begins. Days will roll by, weeks even. You will start questioning whether they even received your file, whether they forgot about your existence altogether, until one day, finally. Of course, a piece of metal does not a branding iron make. We need to clean it up a bit and add some features. First, remove the bridge you created before. A sturdy pair of pliers should do the trick. Clean up the cylinder in the back and give it a slight chamfer. Now we're going to cut threads. Unfortunately, since the metal is harder than differential math, cutting the threads by hand is a bit much to ask for. Instead, go to your drill press and use the chuck to keep pressure on the die as you start the thread. Once you're a couple of turns in, the die will guide itself. Now, we can't be expected to hold on to hot metal with our fingers when branding, so some sort of handle would be great. I don't pretend to be a wood turner. Quite frankly, I don't have much of any idea what I'm doing at a wood turning lathe. If you do, I'm sure you can do a much better job with this. Either way, just go at it. The handle is hiding somewhere there in the wood. As we need something to screw the branding iron into, we can drill and mill down a recess into the end of the handle and then fit a threaded insert in there. For good measure, add a bit of epoxy to the insert to make sure it really stays in the handle. Now all we need to do is finish up the handle. Cut off the base, sand, varnish, whatever you feel like doing. Also, never trust hot glue. Even with the handle, the branding iron is a bit too close to the hand and would also lead a lot of heat into the wooden handle. When in doubt, add more metal. Take some rod stock and cut a thread matching the threaded insert on one end and tap a hole matching the branding iron on the other. Instant extension. One final thing which will increase the quality of our brands is giving the branding surface a light sanding on a flat surface. As the 3D printed metal is a bit rough, smoothing it out will give a better contact with the item you're going to brand and thus better heat transfer. Once done, assemble the parts, get a blowtorch and let's get branding. You're going to have to experiment a bit with how hot you want the iron to get and how long to push it into the material, how hard, etc. But just have fun with it. Branding! 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 And remember, friends don't brand friends, unless they ask for it. Now that you've seen how to leave a permanent mark, why not leave a temporary one and follow Switch and Lever not just by subscribing on YouTube, but through Facebook and Instagram as well. I'll be posting previews of things to come as well as cute as hell cat photos, so be sure to check it out. If you like what you've seen and want to feel like a wealthy benefactor, why not leave a small donation through the Switch and Lever online store. Links are in the description. Stay tuned for more to come. Branding!